Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 2 Chapter 9 Here Comes Trouble. Sonic's Point of View.
Later that night, I started having a dream about Eggman. I was in a black void and my legs were chained to the ground by smoke like vines. That's when Eggman came towards me and someone else. She looked like she was the same species as him. I could feel a very dark aura from her that shook me down to my core. Who are you? I asked Shackley as tears brimmed my eyes.
You will find out soon enough. However, what I can tell you is this. I have the power to enter the dreams of the victims of my most hated curse. So, I truly hear, and that the two of us will be on Earth very soon. Oh, Sonic, get ready for the living nightmare that awaits you.
The dark girl said as she vanished. No, I screamed as I shot up in my bed and started hyperventilating Shackley in a cold sweat. Then I heard someone running to my door.
Sonic, are you okay?
Shadow said as he rushed to my side. No, I'm not. Someone along with Eggman is coming to Earth and I'm completely terrified, I said right before hugging Shadow for dear life as I sobbed.
Please calm down, Sonic. Now, what happened? Okay.
Shadow said lovingly. Okay, well, I was in a black void with my legs chained to the floor. Then I saw Eggman and a strange girl who looked like she was the same species as him. She said they're coming to Earth. Also that she can enter the dreams of the victims of her most dreaded curse. That's when I woke up. I told Shadow as calmly as I could.
Wait, if she was in your dream, doesn't that mean she's placed that curse on you?
Shadow asked fearfully. I don't know how I didn't think of that myself. You're right, Shadow. If only we knew what it actually does and how to lift it, I said in fearful frustration.
Maybe Zim can help us. Do you think you sketch out what the certain girl looks like?
Shadow said as he brought over some art supplies. Yes, I can, I said with a new confidence. Then I did just that.
Yep, she's definitely Erkin.
Shadow confirmed with an angry glare as he stared at the drawing.
We'll discuss this with everyone tomorrow. I know you don't want a worry, Mom, Dad. No longer with this, however. They need to know. Trust me, I've now watched enough shows, movies, and read books that did this plot point to know that it will make things 10 times worse if you don't tell them, okay?
Shadow told me very seriously but still reassuringly. Okay, I'll tell them in the morning, I said as I yawned tiredly.
Do you think you can go back to sleep on your own now?
Shadow asked carefully. I nodded and laid back down as my eyes drooped. Nodded and back down as my eyes zoned. And later I go.
Good night, Sonic, I love you.
Shadow whispered lovingly. I love you too, Shadow, I said right before falling all asleep.
Tamisra's Point of View.
Once Dr. Robotnik was on the other side of the portal, I pulled out my base designer device.
What is that, Tamisra?
Dr. Robotnik-esque in fascination as I sketched the base's design out. You were about to find out. I said as I allowed the device to drill into the ground. Now come, we have to take cover while the device does its thing, I said hastily as I pulled him along to a nearby bush. A few minutes later, the base was up and running. I looked to Dr. Robotnik, who had his mouth gaping as he started the glorious base I made. Thankfully, it went smoothly. Now to pick my disguise so I can do some reconnaissance on Sonic and Zim. Computer, bring me the disguise machine, I said gleefully.
Yes, ma'am.
My computer said as the disguise machine came down in front of me. And I found the perfect look to fit in with these humans, and activated the machine. Well, this is perfect. Don't you think so, Dr. Robotnik? I asked confidently. Dr. Robotnik said in agreement. The next morning, I put Dr. Robotnik in charge of the base while I headed to school. When I got there, I easily found Sonic, who we had gym class together.
Well, everyone, we have that for new student. Meet Tamisra.
The gym teacher said casually as I walked in.
Sonic's Point of View.
I got a strange feeling from this girl, but then I realized why. She was wearing the exact same outfit as the Erkin girl from my nightmare, but I decided not to mention it until lunch. Now we were playing volleyball. Dib and Crystal were on my team. Sim, Jessica, and Tamisra were on Joy's team. So we were at the point of needing a tiebreaker.
All right, time to show you who the true volleyball champion is.
Tamisra said confidently, and yet something was off with the look on her face as she said it. Man, I couldn't for it to be lunch period. Then before I knew it, We lost. Thankfully, nothing really happened after that.
Sim's point of view.
I couldn't believe it. Tamisra was another Arcane, and an Arcane with that name is too much of coincidence to not be here. I could tell the way she was looking at me, and Sonic, that she was targeting us. And that shook me down to my core, especially with me having the knowledge of what she's capable of. Thankfully, she was keeping a low profile, and that means she wasn't going to mess with us here.
Sonic's point of view.
As me, Joy, and Crystal were walking to music class, I texted to Shadow that a girl that looked similar to the Urkin girl from my nightmare. Shadow replied almost instantly. He said that we'll discuss this at lunch and to stay calm. Then my thoughts went to earlier that morning during breakfast.
Morning, boys. So how did you sleep?
Pretzel Mom asked curiously. I took a deep breath and explained everything to her just as soon as Donut Den arrived. I even showed them my sketch of the Urkin girl.
Oh, Sonic, this is horrible. Maybe Zim knows something that can help stop this.
Pretzel Mom said hopefully as she hugged me.
I see what you mean, Danny, but how do you know we can trust him? I mean, he's an invader who wants to conquer Earth's spread.
Donut Dad added cautiously.
I know, Dad, but we honestly have no choice, let alone any other IDs.
Shadow replied reassuringly. Wait, where's Longclaw? I asked when I noticed her absence.
She went for a morning flight.
Pretzel Mom replied reassuringly. That's when we left for school. Then we walked over to Marino when we heard Tamisra's voice.
Oh, you're into music to Sonic. Very interesting.
Tamisra said playfully as she passed us. That's when I knew my suspension was correct. She has the same voice in the Urkin girl, and that's a voice I could never forget.
Hey Sonic, are you okay? You look like you've seen a cuss.
Marina said nervously. Oh, sorry, I just got a lot on my mind. I'll tell you more during lunch, I replied as I shook myself out of my daze.
Okay, if you say so.
Marina said casually. Then the teacher got the class attention.
Alright everyone, have a new student to Tamisra. Do you mind singing for us?
The teacher said happily.
What, of course?
Tamisra replied and proceeded to sing Queen of Mean from Descendants 3. Once she was done, she looked at me with an all-knowing smirk. I was more than ready for lunch period and to tell everyone about this girl.